Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Now that the new account is rolling along, I'm really looking forward to making some newer videos addressing some of the more early game things. For the majority of the time that I've been making videos, I've only had essentially an end game account, and so it's been really difficult for me to really address early game things. I didn't remember all the things that have happened along the way, and it was difficult for me to speak to specific aspects of the game as you're kind of going through it. And so probably about once a week I'll be releasing videos about different aspects of the game, different subjects specifically, and hopefully giving you some more insight into my thoughts on them and how to utilize different aspects of the game. So for this first one, it's been something that I found really interesting as I've been playing again, and that is the use of blueprint scrolls early on in the game. So I'm level 41. This account is 12 or 13 days old now of actually playing the game, and I'm crafting tier 5. So let's look at basically what that looks like. All of the tier 1 and tier 2 blueprints are completely mastered on everything, and then everything tier 3 and tier 4, the value increase and blueprint discovered is done. So tier 3 and 4, blueprint discovered and gold values finished. Tier 1, 2 is mastered. Now, if you look at my blueprint scrolls, I only have 24 left. So I could basically only unlock one tier 6, but every single tier 5 item is done. And so now is the point in time where I actually have to be strategic about what to spend my blueprint scrolls on. Now, as you know, when you hit certain milestones, like when this gets to 20 out of 20, obviously the gold value milestone will be done. I'll be kind of finished that tier 5 for now, and I'll be moving on to the rest of the tier 5s. Now, each time that you get a milestone done, you obviously get one more blueprint scroll. And so I've got a lot of scrolls from like mastering low tier items and finishing at least a couple of them on tier 3, tier 4. And I've also got a few blueprints from workers as well as chests. So I'm probably a little bit ahead of where most players are going to be at this point in time. But look at this. I still have lots of tier 5s that I haven't even touched yet. So I'll probably be getting about 50 or so more blueprint scrolls by the time all of these are at least to the gold increase in the next little bit. But once that's finished, I'm going to have to decide which tier 6s that I want to unlock. And so I think at that point is really when people start to decide, okay, do I go to just like 4 tier 6 items and then keep going with those items to tier 7, etc., or do I just master all the tier 3, master all the tier 4, master all the tier 5 as I go, and then I should get some more blueprint scrolls from events and things like that. So really tier 6 is the point in time when you're really going to have to make some decisions on kind of where you're going to go in terms of researching things. Also, if you go to enchants over here, I have unlocked all 12 of the tier 4 enchants. All of those are done. And most of them aren't super far in terms of me mastering them or anything like that. But I have spent quite a few blueprint scrolls here as well, like 50 or 60 type of thing. And so now that I'm kind of looking at tier 6, once I finish these tier 5s up to the gold value that I want, I'll be deciding what I want to do with tier 6. So let's take a specific look at what I think that should look like for now. So from what I can remember, when I first started playing, tier 7 was the highest tier. And the tier 7 blueprint here is the only free-to-play item that can handle all of the enchantments. What I mean by that is the value of the item is higher than all tier 7 enchantments. So when you go to tier 7 enchantments, like all 6 of these, they're going to add a certain amount of value, anywhere from 130k down to 96k, I think. Or maybe some of the elements are a little bit lower than that, like in the 90ks. So most likely I will be ascending the tier 7 spear. And so the tier 6 spear is going to be one of the first ones that I unlock, aiming for the tier 7 spear, so that when I am making tier 7 enchantments, I'm not losing any value. So when you add an enchantment to an item, the item can only increase in price as high as the base value of that item. And so that's the one that you're going to be aiming for. And I think that's probably going to be the one that I'm aiming for as well. Now, so that means that my wood items are taken care of. So what am I going to do with the other ones? Well, I understand that most people don't have the paid workers, but I'll be going for flawed runestones as my herb item, because then I can make runestones, and then most likely I'll be making 2 different type of enchantments, probably 1 spirit and 1 element. That's what I'm going to be focusing my research scrolls on, so that I have a double enchanted tier 7 item, and that's going to be my main moneymaker going forward. That doesn't have to be for everyone, because this account doesn't have market, that's what I'm going to be going with. But when an account has access to market, there's a lot of other options that you're going to want to look at. A lot of the tier 9 and tier 10 items have pre-crafts. Basically what that means is that there's items that they need in order to craft that item. So for example, this rancier here, it needs this item, which is the hunting spear. It needs one hunting spear in order to make that, right? And so a lot of the tier 9, tier 10 items need a lower tier item in order to craft it. For example, this blood vine. So the base value is 24,500 for this blood vine. But if you sell that in market, for the most part, that's going to go from between 100, 150K. So it's going to be at like 5 times the value that you would get from selling it in your shop. And so a lot of players are going to be focused on pre-craft items. So if you're sitting there and you've got even tier 5s mastered or gold value done on everything from tier 1 to tier 5 and a couple of the lower ones mastered, you're kind of running out of scrolls and wondering, okay, what do I do next? If you go on playshoptitans.com, you look at all the blueprints, you can find, and there's also some spreadsheets for it too, but you can find all of the blueprints in the game that are going to require pre-craft items like the bloodvine, for example. And maybe you're going to want to find 4 different items that require 4 different types of resources. So 1 stone, 1 wood, 1 leather, 1 herb item. So this would be your herb item. You'd find 3 others for the other 3 types. And those would be kind of like your main crafts. Those are the ones that you focus on, the ones that you rush and try to get as many out as you can, and then you go to market and sell those for 5 or 10 times their base value, and that's going to make you a lot more money than it would for me as somebody who doesn't have access to market, who's going to have to play this a little bit differently, right? So I think those are kind of your best bets. And then, I mean, obviously over time, you're going to be getting a lot more research scrolls. Wow, these small talks are terrible. You're going to be getting a lot more research scrolls from events and the different things that you're going to be doing in game. And so you can get research scrolls from obviously mastering other blueprints. You can get them from grab bags. You can get them from spins from the fortune zone, so it can come up in here. You can get them from opening chests. So if you open a chest, there's obviously a small chance that you're going to be getting a research scrolls in here as well. So there's tons of different ways that you can be getting scrolls in the game. No luck there. That gradually over time, you're obviously going to be able to unlock more and more and more blueprints. The thing is that when you get to the end game and you have everything unlocked, generally most super end game players have a ton of leftover blueprint scrolls, which they're going to be changing from at a 10-to-2 ratio over to ascension shards. But early on in the game, you're not going to have those. And so tier 6 is really the cutoff where most people are going to begin to run out. So there's a few options for you. Trying to progress a lot in events is great. Opening as many chests as you can. I mean, I wouldn't recommend spending your early gems on opening chests with gems to get blueprint scrolls. I mean, the long-term benefit is very minimal compared to what you would get with, you know, expanding your shop earlier or gemming upgrades or something like that, right? So I definitely wouldn't recommend opening chests early on with gems, but gradually over time, you will definitely get more scrolls and be able to unlock more things. And it's kind of up to you too. Like, I like the process of mastering things and like going through, and most likely when I finish all the tier 5's gold value and I'm kind of working on what my tier 6 rotation is going to look like, likely I'm going to go back and I'm going to master every single tier 3 item in the game. I'm going to master every single tier 4. It's a goal. It gives me, I mean, I'm making money in the process. It gives me blueprint scrolls so that I can be progressing to later things in the game. And it is an enjoyable thing to be working through. And so it's kind of up to you, the process that you want to go about, you know, mastering everything in the game and getting more scrolls for yourself. But just wanted to address some of the base things that you're going to be looking for with blueprint scrolls and maybe some of the things you might want to prioritize. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free. DM me on Discord, join our Discord server. Lots of tools and resources and people that you can ask about anything that you want in game. And feel free to ask me as well, and I'll do my best to help you out. So anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Talk to y'all soon. Peace out.